Georgie. Good evening, councillors, officers, and our viewers live streaming tonight's meeting. My name is Councillor Messina. I'm the Mayor of the City of Darebin and the chairpersons of tonight's special council meeting. It is my pleasure to welcome you all this evening. This special council meeting is to consider one matter, an appointment of the interim CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. This is to be the only business to be considered at this special council meeting. I declare this meeting open at 5:40 p.m. Item number 2, acknowledgement of traditional owners. Darebin City Council acknowledges the Wurundjeri Wurrung people as the traditional owners and custodians of the land and waters we now call Darebin, and pays respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Council pays respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities in Darebin. Council recognises and pays tribute to the diverse culture, resilience and heritage of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We acknowledge the leadership of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and the rights to self-determination in the spirit of mutual understanding and respect. This meeting is being held virtually pursuant to the provisions of Section 395 of the Local Government Act 2020. Should technical problems be encouraged by Council, the meeting may be adjourned until these are resolved with a maximum of 30 minutes. And if we cannot resolve the problem, we will reschedule the meeting in such circumstances, and an advice message will be shown on your screen. This meeting is being live streamed by a link on the council website, so the public will be able to view the proceedings of the meetings. The meeting is also being recorded and will be made available on the council website as soon as practical after the meeting. For visually impaired community members, the closed caption feature will be available on the recorded meeting. There are a few housekeeping rules and technical tips for council laws that I need to pass on. Please leave your video on and mute your sound unless you wish to speak. If you wish to electronically raise your hand, hover over the participants buttons in the main window and then press the small hand symbol in the right-hand corner. Can I also ask if it's possible, if you can please put your hand over your face if you wish to speak also, because I know at times it's been difficult to register who wishes to speak. If you wish to leave the meeting, so I'm aware of it, please raise your hand as I indicated. Note that there is no chat facility available during the meeting for councillors or general viewers. Item number 2, membership tonight. I'd like to introduce councillors in attendance this evening. Councillor Trent McCarthy, the Deputy Mayor. Can I ask that you leave your camera on, Councillor McCarthy, during the meeting, please? Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mayor. My thumb was covering the camera, unfortunately.
Those thumbs and the mobile phone. Councillor Emily Dimitriadis.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Gaetano Greco. Can't hear you, Gaetano. Councillor Greco.
Oh, hi everyone. This is Gaetano. Thanks.
Good evening. Thank you. Councillor Tom Hannon.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, all.
Good evening, Tom. Councillor Suzanne Newton.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Councillor Susan Rennie.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening. Councillor Julie Williams.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. And note that officers in attendance this evening will be Jodie Watson, the General Manager, Governance and Engagement, Sarah Knoll, the Chief People and Culture Officer, Stephen Mann, the Coordinator of Council Business, Rachna Singh, the Senior Council Business Officer, Georgina Steele, who's a Council Business Officer and virtual meeting host, and Zishan Mahood, who is the IT help desk. Apologies, item number 3 is note that Councillor Tim Lawrence is an apology. Item number 3, disclosures of conflicts of interest. Councillors, are there any conflicts of interest to disclose?
No.
No. Thank you. None noted. Okay. There's only one item we have listed for this evening. It's the appointment of the interim Chief Executive Officer, and councillors, we've had distributed to them early today a confidential report on this matter from the General Manager, Governments and Engagements. Councillors, as this matter has been designated confidential, I'll be seeking a mover and a seconder of the motion to close the meeting, cease the live streaming of the meeting, in fact, to consider this confidential matter in a closed meeting of the Council. Before I accept a mover and a seconder of this motion to close the meeting, I would like to advise that those persons viewing this live stream that it is my expectation that once Council has considered this matter and made a decision, that the meeting will be reopened to the public. That means that the live streaming will recommence, and I'll be in a position to inform viewers of the decision made by Council. Whilst I cannot predetermine the time required to deal with this matter in the closed meeting, I do not anticipate that it will be a long time. Item number 4, councillors, we've got consideration of reports considered confidential. As I mentioned, we've got one confidential report to be considered this evening. That is item number 4.1, the appointment of an interim chief executive officer. Councillors, in accordance with section 66(2) of the Local Government Act 2020, Council may resolve to close the meeting to members of the public to consider this item designated confidential by the acting chief executive or officer in accordance with section 3(1) of the Act. Councillor, is there a mover for this recommendation? That's moved by Councillor McCarthy and seconded by Councillor Williams. All those in favour? Just watching the hands. Thank you. That is carried unanimously. Thank you. Officers, can I now confirm, and I'll wait for a moment, that the